Welcome back to the Explainer. Today we are diving straight into ACIM, Lesson 156. Now, if you've been following along on this journey, you know that these lessons really build on each other. But today's text, it offers a particularly profound shift in how we view ourselves and the world around us. We're going to unpack the philosophy, the beautiful imagery, and the exact daily practice laid out in the text.
Right off the bat, here is the lesson of the day. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Wow. Just take a second to really let that sink in. This single, beautiful sentence is the absolute foundation for our entire awakening journey today. The text asks us to use this statement to reframe our whole existence. Actually, it's not just a comforting affirmation. It is presented as a fundamental, undeniable fact of reality.
So, let's get right into Section 1, the illusion of guilt and breaking the dream of sin.
The text argues that the very idea of sin is literally impossible, which means guilt has absolutely no actual cause. To understand that logic, we have to look at this core principle from the text: ideas leave not their source. Simply put, if you were created by a holy source, God, you cannot exist apart from that holiness. The text asks us point blank, if this is true, how can you be apart from God? How could you possibly walk the world alone and separate from your source? The answer, according to the lesson, is that you can't. And because you cannot be separated from your source, you cannot be guilty. It's really that simple.
Which brings us to Section 2, sharing in divine holiness and the consistency of truth.
The curriculum emphasizes that truth simply can't contradict itself, right? Therefore, you cannot walk the world apart from God, because He is quite literally what your life is. The text brilliantly illustrates this point with some wildly striking metaphors. Imagine the sun just choosing to be made of ice, or the sea electing to exist apart from water, or grass growing with its roots completely suspended in the air. We instantly recognize how absurd that is, while the text argues that for you to choose to be sinful or separate from God is just as wildly impossible as those natural impossibilities. Because you share His life, you share His holiness. You simply cannot choose to be something you are not.
Moving on to Section 3, the light within you and a world sanctified.
Here, the text shifts to this comforting, almost cosmic imagery, stating that because of the holy light inside you, your very presence actively blesses or sanctifies the entire world around you. The author paints an incredibly vivid picture of how the physical world reacts to this light. All living things bring gifts to you, offering them in gratitude and gladness at your feet. The text poetically describes the scent of flowers as their gift to you. It envisions waves bowing down before you, trees extending their branches to shield you from the heat, and leaves laying themselves on the ground so you can walk softly. Even the wind sinks to a gentle whisper around your holy head. It's a breathtaking way to visualize how all of nature recognizes the holiness walking with you.
Because you see, the universe itself actually longs to behold your light. The text elaborates that all living things are still before you because they recognize exactly who walks with you. And here's the really beautiful twist. The light you carry is their own light too. They see their own holiness in you, saluting you. The lesson asks us to accept this reverence, not to inflate our egos, but to acknowledge the holiness itself that walks with us, transforming all things into its purity.
Okay, so how do we practically apply this? That brings us to Section 4, the way salvation works, or leaving the dream behind.
According to the source, the mechanics of waking up and letting go of the dream are actually quite simple. As you step back, the light in you steps forward. And notice the tone the text takes regarding the end of our illusions. It reassures us that waking up doesn't herald the end of sin and punishment and death. Instead, it is gone in lightness and laughter. Why? Because its quaint absurdity is finally seen. The text wants us to realize that our belief in sin and separation isn't some terrifying reality we have to fight. It's honestly just a ridiculous mistake that we can gently laugh at and release.
This comparison is just incredibly comforting. Our belief in separation is described as a foolish thought, a senseless whim. Compare that to the alternative, an instant approach to God Himself. The text asks, who would waste time holding on to a ridiculous dream when reality is right there? It acknowledges that, yes, you may have wasted many, many years on this foolish thought, but the past and its fantasies are gone. They bind you no longer. The approach to God is near.
Which brings us to the really actionable part of our explainer. Section 5, your daily practice and ending the doubt. The text fully acknowledges that you might still have moments of doubt, so it gives us a highly specific tool. That tool is a simple but incredibly powerful question. Whenever you feel that doubt creeping in, whenever you feel separated, guilty, or fearful, the text instructs you to ask this crucial grounding question: who walks with me? This is your anchor. It's a circuit breaker for your doubting mind, designed to immediately snap you back to the truth of your shared life with your source.
Now, here is the kicker. How often do we need to use this tool? The text dramatically instructs us to ask this question 1,000 times a day. 1,000 times. This isn't just a casual morning meditation. This is an aggressive, all-day retraining of the mind. You ask it until certainty has completely ended your doubting and established absolute peace. Today, the lesson says, let doubting cease.
When you ask, who walks with me? The text says God actually speaks for you, answering your question with these exact words. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I light the world. I light my mind and all the minds which God created one with me. Just let that unifying prayer wash over you. It is a complete reset for the mind, a perfect remedy for any lingering illusion of guilt or isolation.
To wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with the core lesson statement one more time. I walk with God in perfect holiness. Remember, the text asks you to practice this realization and ask, who walks with me? 1,000 times today. Keep catching your mind and let that light step forward. Because if you truly share the exact life and holiness of your source, what in this world is left to fear? If this breakdown helps clarify the lesson for you today, please make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy your practice today.